If you are looking for some no spice spring romances for the season, then I think this video is going to be perfect for you. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of no spice romances that fit into different categories like flowers, outdoorsy, baseball, all of the things that we love about spring. So let's just go ahead and get into it. First up, I have a book for Easter. I was trying to think about spring holidays. We already had St. Patrick's Day, and there's Earth Day. There's a few things, but I feel like Easter is the main spring holiday. So for Easter, I picked The Ex-Puck Bunny by Ellie Hall. This book is the fifth book, I believe, in her Nebraska Nights hockey romance series. And all of these books are centered around different holidays. There's like 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, all of the things, but this one is specifically Easter. And I believe this one is a brother's best friend's hockey romance. This one would be perfect to pick up right around Easter time. I think it's so fun that she has books for all of the smaller holidays beyond just, the typical Christmas. Next, I was thinking about spring sports. And of course, the first thing that came to mind was baseball. We just had opening day, games are starting. So for baseball, I picked The Double Play by Anna Conwell. This one's actually coming out on May 6th, I believe, so perfect spring timing. And this, I believe, is a Grumpy Sunshine baseball romance. It's the fourth book in her More Than a Game series, which is like a hockey romance, a golf romance, I think maybe football, and then this one. I've really been wanting to read some of her work, and so I would love to read the first three and then get to this one for its release in May. Then I was also thinking that soccer is a very springy sport, whether you watch soccer or lots of people like play soccer in the spring with kids or maybe just with your friends. And so for soccer, I have Love and Other Goals by Tracy Back. This specifically is a Christian book, I believe, and it is a college soccer romance. And I've never actually read a soccer romance, I don't think. I've never really been big into soccer, maybe a little bit in high school because soccer was like the only sport we were actually good at. But other than that, I've never really been into soccer. So I feel like this one would be very fun to try out. Also, all of these first three books, The Ex-Puck Bunny, Love and Other Goals, and also The Double Play, are all on Kindle Unlimited. So then beyond sports and holidays, I was thinking about different springy activities. And one of the first things that came to mind was biking. I love riding my bike. And especially living in a place where we have colder winters, I have not been able to ride my bike in months. And so I'm so excited to be able to go on some bike rides this spring. So for biking, I picked Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. This, I believe, is technically Christian romance, and this one follows a teacher who I believe teaches music at this school, and they need money for the music program. So she decides to fundraise money by doing this bike like thousands of miles. And she does it tandem with this guy, I think because of a fake dating situation. I'm not completely sure, but basically it's like a tandem bicycle road trip. And that sounds really fun to me. The cover's really cute, and I've been wanting to read a book by this author. So I feel like this will be so fun to pick up in the spring. Another springy activity is gardening, flowers, all of those things I feel like are so springy. And so for the gardening floral aspect of spring, I picked Petals and Plot Twist by Jenny Proctor. This actually just came out like a week or two ago. This is the third book in the Only Magic in the Building series, which if you haven't heard, this is a new multi-author no spice romance series. All of the couples, all of the books are set in the same magical, whimsical apartment building. And I've already read the first two, and I love them so far. They are so fun. The little magical element is such a nice touch, and I just love most of these authors that I have read, and the new ones, I'm so excited to read their work. And so this one specifically, I'm actually in the middle of right now. It is a friends to lovers story, and the magical element in this book is a flower, and the main character works like in the garden. She designs like outdoor spaces, and so I feel like this is just perfect for the springtime. The rest of the books in this series, a couple of them are already out, and then the rest of them are coming out every Wednesday from now until April 23rd, I believe. So I'm specifically mentioning this one because of the flower aspect, but I think all of the books in this series would be perfect to read this spring. And then lastly, for springy activities, I was thinking about all of the things that we like to do outside, like fishing, camping, hiking, kayaking, all of those kind of outdoorsy activities. And I feel like these two books encapsulate all of that, and that is Love Naturally and Get Lost with You by Sophie Sullivan. So these are interconnected books, and I think there's gonna maybe be a third, or maybe there's just two, I'm not for sure. But the first one, I believe, is like a city girl, country boy, opposites attract story. And then the second one is a single mom, more second chance story. And they both take place at Get Lost Lodge. So small town lodge, again, very outdoorsy vibes, which I feel like is just perfect for the springtime. So those are some of the springy romances on my personal spring TBR, but I also wanted to share a couple of recommendations that also fall into some of these categories. So for a very outdoorsy romance, I wanted to recommend Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Sinter. This one follows a woman who is just struggling to find her place in life, and she goes on this crazy backpacking outdoorsy trip in Wyoming, and you get to follow her story there. It is part of Catherine Sinter's backlist, so I would say it leans a little bit more women's fiction, but also is pretty heavy on the romance. And I really love this one. Again, with all of the outdoorsy elements, I feel like it is so fun for the springtime. And there's also a movie on Netflix that was made from this book, and I really enjoyed that as well. So I would definitely check that out after you read the book. Also, I feel like very outdoorsy is the Riverbend Gap series by Denise Hunter. This is one of the first interconnected romance series I ever read, and I love this one. It is set in the Western North Carolina, like Appalachian Mountains, and it follows different siblings in each book. And it's just so fun, very found family. I love all of the different romances, all different tropes throughout the books. And yeah, I just really enjoyed these. I think they're some of my favorites by Denise Hunter. So definitely recommend these for springtime. And my last spring book recommendation is The Bodyguard by Catherine Sinter. I feel like it is just the perfect romance for spring that's not too springy, but just spring feels like the right time to read it. And this one follows Jack, who is a movie star, and Hannah, who is his bodyguard, who is hired because he has a stalker. And he has to go home back to his family's ranch in Texas because his mom is sick. And he doesn't want to worry his family and let them know that he has and needs a bodyguard. So they, of course, fake date, and she pretends to be his girlfriend so she can protect him. And this one is just so fun. The ranch, Texas setting is perfect for the springtime and very atmospheric, I feel like. And then just the dynamic between the two of them, the romance in this. I think it's some of Catherine Sinter's best work, and definitely leans more romance because it's a newer book of hers, whereas her backlist, I feel like, leans more women's fiction. So if you are preferring maybe a little bit more romance, I would recommend The Bodyguard. And then maybe if you want a little bit more outdoorsy women's fiction with romance, I would probably recommend Happiness for Beginners. But I think both of them would be perfect for spring. And that is my spring romance TBR. I am planning to make a no spice romance new releases for spring and summer video, so definitely make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And if you're looking for more springy books, I have a whole video from last year with like over 40 spring book recommendations and ideas, so definitely go check that out next. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, friends.